What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick summary of what happened, go over some of the data points and what shorts did. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 2.32% in the green, continuing that after hours. Had a new 52-week high of 1555. Once I go over the options, that might make you a little bit more happy because there were some pretty bullish transactions that was done today, but a couple different attributing factors for the green day, one of which was just the broader market reacting to cryptocurrency, as well as a lot of companies kicking ass on their earnings. This morning, you did have initial jobless claims, came in at 213, the actual, and then 224, the forecast. So honestly, all the data points coming out are fairly good. You had a little bit of a pullback near the tail end. I think that's just last minute jitters associated to manufacturing data coming out tomorrow. So the forecast right now for that is 49.2. So as I've stated in the past, anything below 50 shows more of a contraction within the broader market. Anything above that shows more of an expansion. So I think some people are somewhat hesitant about that, but there was one thing that did come out associated to SoFi, and that was this. So Galileo has been selected as a provider for the US Treasury's largest prepaid debit program. Anthony even tweeted about this as well. There's an article all about this. So this is very, very good stuff. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that though, no SEC filings, nothing like that. So it was just kind of reacting to the broader market. So SoFi is on a absolute warpath to hit 20. So yeah, honestly, SoFi is a beast. Today was the first day in roughly around 4 days that shorts actually did increase their position. So net, they increased 250,000 shares. But given that it went from roughly, 18% short interest to where it is now, I think it's still a win is a win. 14.09% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 150.05 million shares. And you see this still, cost to borrow minimum being negative. So that one broker or brokers is really stubborn. They're relentless. They want to try and drive up business. And so yeah, in case you're new to the channel, that does mean that there is a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi, as messed up as that is. But quickly going over to options, there was $62 million in calls, 13 million in puts. So a hell of a lot of money was getting into SoFi through options. 46% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish, but of the call options that were purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above that 16. So that seems to be a very strong consensus, but there was one thing that did come out, and that was right here. So randomly, 20,000 call options were purchased today at the $18 strike price for next week, so ending November 29th, 2024. Of course, options is just merely a sentiment, so that doesn't actually directly kind of move the stock price for face value, but in general, someone, so clearly that's not retail based on the dollar value, but someone out there is anticipating for SoFi to continue to move higher. And even kind of extending it a little bit further, on the January 17th expiry date, you have 10,000 purchase for that same strike at the 18. Then you also have 20. And then for July 18th, there was a good consensus for it to be above 21. So like I said, SoFi is on a absolute warpath, and people, like, if you buy call options and if it does continue to go up, this is how you can make tenfold your money. And that's why a lot of people like to do options. So definitely it's worth the research. So make sure you do your own due diligence at the end of the day. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. A lot of transactions being done after hours, a lot of big ones. So 2.9 million right here, 1.04, 1.05, tons and tons and tons and tons of transactions. So I think in general, this is probably the most heavily traded day based on large transactions on the secondary market that I've seen in a very long time. And that's also encumbering their earnings as well. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff all in all. Right now with it at 1501 and kind of moving up after hours, it is trading between these 2 points, so this R3 and this R2. So 1513 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. 1458 will be that strong support. Didn't really come close to that R2 whatsoever, kind of flirting with this after hours a little bit, but the next kind of strong point to watch for is this right here. So $15.96, which, given the momentum, it's fair to assume it could be touched tomorrow. Quickly going back over here though, just so you're aware. So looking at the call options, the open interest, especially with tomorrow being Friday, you know, sometimes that plays a big part in kind of shorts manipulating it and all that other crap. But you have 10,000 at that $14 strike price, 17 at $14.50, 20,000 at 15, 13 at $15.50, and then 12,000 at 16. So kind of just take note of that going forward into tomorrow, of course. Quickly popping over, looking at the technicals above all the key points that I like to look at. So above the ALMA, 5100, 200-day moving average. Stochastic RSI, you see a nice bullish deviation. So that blue line above the orange. MACD, very, very bullish. So everything is showing signs of kind of a continuation. Nothing really to slow it down. So on a technical stance, SoFi is a-okay, and so most likely I think it is fair to assume that those kind of options might come to fruition, possibly 18 by next week, I guess, given this momentum. So that would be pretty kick-ass if you ask me. But like I've stated in the past, everything goes up very, very fast, but that does mean that a lot of the broader market is rather overbought. So the first sign of weakness, possibly tomorrow with manufacturing data. If negative, you could see a lot of volatility associated to that. So definitely something just to keep in mind. But until that comes out, or unless there's a negative piece of news, market's going to keep on keeping on. So I think, yeah, bigger and better things are going to be coming for SoFi. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling, what have you been doing with SoFi? Based on this right here, shows number of retail investors have been getting in. Looks like ever since November the 4th, and they seem to be loving it. And so essentially this is kind of one of the rare opportunities during this time period that both big money and retail has been buying SoFi. And I've been covering SoFi for, I don't know, I think I started covering it roughly around here-ish when it was around 10. And yeah, very few times have you seen both institutions and retail buying on this magnitude for a very long time. And just looking at this right here, the momentum bigger picture, it's never gone through this level of FOMO in the past. So I think this is definitely something to take note of. As I've stated in the past, if you are bearish, then you can always do options. If you're bullish, you can do options. So definitely take the time, make yourself a better investor, and research options, because like individuals, especially down here that bought calls, they are like 20xing, 30xing, 40xing their initial investment. Options is a good way to do it. And if you do continue or anticipate it to continue to go up to, let's say, the 25, 28 or whatever else, then yeah, you could make some pretty good money. But no matter what, options is just a sentiment, like I said. So let me know your thoughts as well when it comes down to this news. What is your viewpoint on that? Do you think that's going to equate to, I guess, more revenue, especially for the foreseeable future as a result of this? Or what's your kind of thoughts on all of that? And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, though, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, and all of them have been absolute bangers, on point. So definitely pop over there, take a look at that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.